One moment these famous people were here, and the next, they had mysteriously disappeared without a trace. Join us as we explore 20 mind-boggling, unsolved mysteries of celebrities who mysteriously disappeared and were never found. Sean Flynn, war photographer's mysterious disappearance in Cambodia. Sean Flynn wasn't just the son of legendary Hollywood actor Errol Flynn. He was an adventurer, actor, and fearless photojournalist whose mysterious disappearance remains unsolved. Sean Flynn's extraordinary life was filled with promise and danger, but his story took a tragic and mysterious turn on April 6, 1970, when he disappeared while covering the Vietnam War in Cambodia. Growing up as the child of a Hollywood icon, Sean had opportunities many could only dream of. He made his acting debut at just 15 years old, appearing in an episode of his father's show, The Errol Flynn Theater. Despite his early exposure to the spotlight, Sean Flynn didn't want to live in his father's shadow. He grew disillusioned with acting, craving something more meaningful and exciting. This quest for purpose led him to photojournalism, a field that perfectly matched his adventurous spirit. Sean joined a group of daring war photographers who would venture into the most dangerous combat zones to capture the raw, unfiltered reality of war. He wasn't just chasing adrenaline. Sean Flynn was on a mission to tell stories through his lens that the world needed to see. On that fateful day in April, Sean Flynn and his colleague Dana Stone, a CBS journalist, were traveling by motorcycle to a press conference near Saigon. Along the way, they were ambushed and captured by Viet Cong forces. Despite countless searches and numerous investigations, neither Sean Flynn nor Dana Stone was ever seen again. Their bodies were never recovered, leaving their fate shrouded in mystery. Sean Flynn's unsolved disappearance remains one of the most haunting stories of the Vietnam War. Was he executed? Did he succumb to the harsh conditions of captivity? Or is there another explanation entirely? Decades later, his story continues to capture imaginations and serve as a reminder of the risks journalists take to bring truth to light. Richie Edwards, famous musician's mysterious vanishing. Richie Edwards, the brilliant and enigmatic guitarist of the Welsh alternative rock band Manic Street Preachers, mysteriously disappeared under suspicious circumstances on February 1, 1995. His unsolved case remains one of the music industry's most puzzling missing persons mysteries. As the band's main lyricist, Richie Edwards was known for his deeply introspective and often dark writing. He openly shared his struggles with depression and mental health in interviews, transforming his pain into poetic and raw lyrics that resonated with fans worldwide. Music wasn't just a career for Richie, it was his lifeline and a way to process his inner battles. On the day he vanished, Richie Edwards was supposed to fly to the United States with the band to promote their music. However, instead of boarding the plane, he mysteriously disappeared. His car was later found abandoned near the Severn Bridge, a location tragically associated with suicide and despair. This discovery raised fears that Richie Edwards might have taken his own life, but no evidence confirmed this theory. Despite extensive searches, Richie's body was never recovered. Over the years, rumors and speculation have kept his memory alive. Some fans claim to have spotted him in far-off places like India and the Canary Islands, fueling theories that Richie Edwards might have chosen to start a new life away from the spotlight. His mysterious disappearance remains an enduring, unsolved mystery. To this day, fans, friends, and family continue to wonder about the truth behind his vanishing, keeping his legacy as a musician and lyricist alive in their hearts. Jimmy Hoffa, labor leaders' famous unsolved disappearance. Jimmy Hoffa was a man who knew how to rise through the ranks. Smart, tough, and determined, he started as a union organizer and by 1958 became the president of the Teamsters, the largest labor union in the United States. This famous missing person case remains one of America's most notorious unsolved disappearances. But Jimmy Hoffa's success came with controversy. The Teamsters were notorious for corruption, with shady dealings that kept federal authorities on Hoffa's trail for years. In 1964, the law finally caught up with him. Jimmy Hoffa was convicted of jury tampering and other crimes, landing him in federal prison. Remarkably, even while behind bars, he still seemed to have a hand in running Teamster affairs. After serving just a few years, Hoffa was released in 1971, thanks to a commutation by President Richard Nixon. However, his release came with a condition. He was barred from any involvement in union activities, a restriction Jimmy Hoffa reportedly didn't plan to follow for long. On July 30, 1975, Hoffa was last seen heading to a restaurant in suburban Detroit. He was allegedly meeting with two Teamster officials, but he never returned home. His car was found in the restaurant's parking lot, but there was no sign of Jimmy Hoffa himself. Despite extensive investigations and countless theories, his mysterious disappearance remains unsolved. Some believe Jimmy Hoffa was silenced by organized crime figures who feared his attempts to regain control of the Teamsters. Others speculate that his disappearance was part of a larger conspiracy, tied to his knowledge of illegal activities within the union. Whatever the truth, Hoffa was declared legally dead in 1982, but his story has never stopped captivating the public. To this day, Jimmy Hoffa's fate is one of the most infamous unsolved mysteries of the 20th century. His name continues to spark curiosity and intrigue, and his legacy as a controversial figure in American history endures. Barbara Newhall Follett, child prodigy's mysterious vanishing Barbara Newhall Follett, was a literary prodigy who published her first novel, The House Without Windows, at just 12 years old, enchanting readers with her poetic descriptions of nature. By 14, she had cemented her reputation with her second novel, The Voyage of the Normandy. A child of nature, her work often reflected her deep love for the wilderness. Her life took a dramatic turn when her father left her family, plunging them into financial hardship. Despite this, Barbara Newhall Follett continued writing while working as a secretary during the Great Depression, though her later works failed to replicate her early acclaim. In 1931, she met Nickerson Rogers, sharing adventures on the Appalachian Trail and traveling overseas. They married in 1934, but cracks in her happiness soon appeared. By 1938, she suspected her husband of infidelity, and the following year, she mysteriously disappeared without a trace. Her unsolved disappearance remains one of literature's most baffling mysteries, leaving behind a legacy of brilliance and unanswered questions about what really happened to this talented young writer. Michael Rockefeller, heir's mysterious disappearance in New Guinea. Michael Rockefeller, the youngest son of New York Governor Nelson Rockefeller, had a deep curiosity for the world and an adventurous spirit. In 1961, his passion for collecting indigenous art led him to the remote and mysterious region of New Guinea, home to the Asmat people, where his mysterious disappearance would become one of history's most famous unsolved cases. During an expedition, Michael Rockefeller was aboard a pontoon boat that capsized in rough waters, stranding him and his companions miles from shore. Two local guides set off to get help, leaving Michael and his Dutch companion to wait. Hours passed, and as hope of rescue faded, Michael made the bold decision to swim the 12 miles to shore. It was the last time he was seen alive. Initially, Michael Rockefeller was presumed to have drowned in the treacherous waters, but rumors quickly began to swirl. Some believe he made it to shore, but tragically met his end at the hands of the Asmat people, a group known for their complex cultural practices, including ritualistic warfare and headhunting. Despite extensive searches and countless theories, Michael Rockefeller's fate remains one of the 20th century's most enduring unsolved mysteries. Did he perish in the sea, or did he survive only to encounter a darker end on land? His mysterious disappearance continues to spark intrigue, leaving many captivated by the story of the daring young man who vanished in one of the most remote corners of the world. Jimmy Sweet Robinson. Boxer's silent exit. Jimmy Sweet Robinson was a Miami-based boxer with a reputation as a reliable last-minute substitute in the ring. Though his career wasn't filled with championship belts, he made boxing history in 1961 when he faced a young Cassius Clay, later known as Muhammad Ali. Their fight was brief but unforgettable, ending with Robinson knocked out in the first round. Despite the loss, Jimmy Robinson remained a respected figure in the boxing world, fighting in various bouts until his retirement in 1969. After stepping out of the ring, however, Robinson mysteriously disappeared from the public eye. The last known photograph of him was taken in 1979, accompanied by an interview that hinted at his humble yet mysterious post-boxing life. Since then, efforts by reporters and boxing enthusiasts to uncover Robinson's fate have come up empty. No records exist detailing where he went, how he lived, or even when he may have passed away. It's as if the former fighter simply vanished without explanation. Jimmy Robinson's unsolved disappearance remains an enigma in sports history. Was it a conscious choice to leave his past behind, or did circumstances beyond his control lead to his unknown fate? His story, like so many in the boxing world, is both fascinating and bittersweet. a tale of fleeting fame and an enduring mystery. Zoe McClellan, actress's disappearance amid legal battle. Zoe McClellan, best known for her roles in Designated Survivor and NCIS, became the center of a real-life drama in May 2021, when an arrest warrant was issued against her in Los Angeles County. The charges, child custody deprivation, kidnapping, and child stealing, stemmed from accusations by her ex-husband, J.P. Gillane, during an ongoing custody dispute that had been unfolding since 2017. The controversy began when McClellan allegedly took their then 4-year-old son, Sebastian, to Toronto without Gillen's consent. Gillen claimed the move was done maliciously and without legal approval. In contrast, others believe Zoe McClellan's actions were motivated by a desire to protect her child, pointing to allegations of abuse she had made against Gillane in the past. McClellan has been missing from the public eye since April 2019, with no appearances in productions or interviews. Many speculate that she might be living under a different identity, avoiding both the authorities and media scrutiny. Fans of the actress are divided, with some supporting her as a mother doing whatever it takes to shield her son, while others criticize her for defying legal processes. The mystery surrounding her disappearance has fueled heated debates, but the truth remains elusive. Zoe McClellan's story blurs the line between celebrity intrigue and legal drama, leaving unanswered questions about her actions and the fate of her family. For now, her whereabouts and the ultimate resolution of this case remain unknown in this modern missing person mystery. Scott Smith, musician lost at sea. Scott Smith, the talented bassist for the Canadian rock band Loverboy, was a beloved figure in the world of music. Known for hits like Working for the Weekend and Turn Me Loose, Loverboy achieved international fame, and Smith's bass lines helped define their sound. In December 2000, Smith set out on what should have been a peaceful and enjoyable sailing trip off the coast of San Francisco. He was at the helm of his sailboat when disaster struck. A towering 25-foot wave unexpectedly crashed into the vessel, flipping it on its side and washing Scott Smith overboard. Despite frantic efforts by those on board and a swift search operation, Smith's body was never recovered. The waters where the accident occurred are known for their treacherous currents, which made the chances of recovery slim. Scott Smith's mysterious disappearance was a tragic loss for his family, friends, and fans. He was remembered not only as a talented musician, but also as a kind-hearted and adventurous spirit. Loverboy continued to honor his memory in their music, ensuring his legacy lives on, even as the mystery of that fateful day at sea remains unsolved. His case remains one of music's most tragic unsolved disappearances. Joe Pitchler, child actor's puzzling vanishing. Joe Pitchler, a former child actor known for his roles in the Beethoven movies and Varsity Blues, mysteriously disappeared in January 2006, leaving fans, family, and friends searching for answers in this unsolved case. After stepping away from acting, Joe had returned to his hometown of Bremerton, Washington, seeking a quieter life. On January 5, 2006, Joe Pitchler made a troubling phone call to a friend, during which he sounded upset and intoxicated. Just hours later, he vanished without explanation. His abandoned car was found nearby, containing a note expressing his emotional struggles and a desire to be a better sibling. Despite efforts to locate him, Joe was never found, and his mysterious disappearance remains one of Hollywood's unsolved mysteries. Some believe he may have left voluntarily due to the pressures of his past, while others suspect foul play. Joe Pitchler's story is a heartbreaking reminder of how a young life can disappear without explanation, joining the ranks of famous missing persons cases that continue to perplex investigators. Amelia Earhart, aviation pioneer's famous disappearance. Amelia Earhart was a trailblazer, celebrated as the first woman to fly solo across the Atlantic Ocean. She was a pioneer in aviation, breaking barriers for women in a male-dominated field, and her fearless spirit captured the world's attention. In what became history's most famous unsolved disappearance, Earhart was admired not just for her flying skills, but also for her sense of adventure and her ambition to challenge the limits of what was possible. But on July 2nd of 1937, her remarkable career and life came to an abrupt and mysterious end during an attempt to circumnavigate the globe. She and her navigator, Fred Noonan, were en route to Howland Island, a tiny coral atoll located between Hawaii and Australia. Tragically, during the flight, their plane ran out of fuel. As they tried to locate the island, communication was lost, and they were never heard from again. The mysterious disappearance of Amelia Earhart remains one of the greatest unsolved mysteries in aviation history. Numerous theories have emerged over the years, but none have offered a definitive answer. One of the most intriguing pieces of evidence came in the 1940s, when bones were discovered on Nikumaroro, an island in the Pacific. The remains seemed to match Earhart's physical build, suggesting that she may have ended up there after crashing, only to die as a castaway. However, the bones were later lost, and without further evidence, the theory remains inconclusive. Despite decades of search efforts, Amelia Earhart's final resting place remains unknown. Was she stranded on a remote island, or did she perish somewhere over the vast Pacific Ocean? The mystery of her disappearance continues to captivate people worldwide, and while many questions remain unanswered, her legacy as one of the most iconic and pioneering figures in aviation endures. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel for weekly videos exploring unsolved mysteries, cold cases, and the strange and unexplained. Leave a comment with which mysterious disappearance you'd like us to cover next.